everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 80 of Direwolf20's Let's Play of ATM10 to the Skies. Today I am pulverizing up some Enderic compounds. Because today's episode I want to play with these things. Last episode we wrapped up saying this is the next thing we need to get. I've got some now, and everybody's happy. The reason I wanted to get these is I'm continuing down the Oritech quest line here, which is probably around here somewhere. I kind of like having a visual to show you guys what I'm working on, so that's always kind of a nice... speed add-ons are always nice to have. So we've gotten you done, and we've gotten you done, which is cool. I just got my Enderic compounds, which I thought gave me something. Yes, this guy. So now we have to work towards duratium ingots, that stuff, to get the atomic forge, but we also need flux gates. So remember we said last episode we need to get Enderic lasers so that we can, you know, do stuff. So let's get that made real quick. What do I need to make Enderic lasers? What don't I have? We're going to need you on the to-do list, which is an assembly line of these things. So let's see, is that what this thing is? It is. All right, cool. I did kind of prep a little bit. Let's see. So you were my assembly line? Yeah. Cool. So does that mean I can make one of these now, or is there still something I'm missing? We're missing the Enderic compounds, but I just made them, so we're not really missing them, which means we're good to go. Sweet. Perfect. That gets me the Enderic laser. Now, if I remember correctly about this dude, he needs to, like, have a machine on top of him. And then we need to give him power, of course, because he's a laser. You know, power's, you know, kind of comes with the territory. There you go. And then the Enderic laser is going to make Fluxite for us, along with a few other things. It can also make charged Certus, but we're not too worried about that. It can also make Plutonium dust with uraninite crystals, which is interesting. I'm assuming, like, is that... No, that's... Uraninite crystals is from Oritech? Interesting. The glowing uranium can be harvested similar to uranium ore. However, they can also be destroyed with an Enderic laser to drop plutonium dust instead, which is much more valuable. However, unlike amethyst, the uranium crystals will not regrow. So that's an important thing to note. However, we can make these with ender crafting, so that's cool. There's also bees for them. So we'll figure out how much plutonium we need at some point, but for now, we just need amethyst clusters, right? So all we need is a budding amethyst set up like here-ish. And if we take a look at our quest, the Enderic laser also needs the target designator, which needs processing units, which I may or may not know how to make. I'm saying not. So processing units from Oritech will be you. Looks pretty craftable to me. Let me get like a bunch of those and we'll be right back. All right, 10 processing units later. That's cool. So now we should be able to make one of these. Courtesy of all this stuff. Nice. I might tell it to keep plastic in stock because that might be nice, but we'll give it a minute. So now target designator. Now, I do want to check out how this works. To set the target direction of laser, select a target with the target designator. Then shift right-click the bottom laser block to assign the target. The laser will keep firing in the target direction as long as there is something to target. A redstone signal disables laser. If it tries to mine the target block, it will stop the beam there. The maximum range is 128 blocks. The laser only has a target direction, not position. This means that it'll keep destroying blocks in that direction until there's nothing left. Be careful when setting it up in your base. Cool. Laser also accelerates amethyst growth when aimed at a budding amethyst itself. It will not destroy the budding amethyst. That's good to know. Energy transfer. Seems pretty cool. So I think what I want to do, let's try and get the directional dude. But we don't want to, what I'd like to do is that going to, let me get a flux point for this, because that might be cool. I don't know exactly how to designate the direction. It always seems to be above, but I got to imagine there's a way to be like, no, go, like, don't go up. Like, I want you to go sideways. Direction up. There's got to be a way to change that, right? How do we change the direction of this dude? Maybe this dude. Direction north. Hello there. That's cool. Okay, I like that. So now what I can do is I can target you with this. And then he'll help it grow. And that's pretty cool, right? And now I think you've got the Fluxite in your inventory. So what I want to do, okay, is this. I'd like to item pipe it directly into there. Okay. And then I'd like to disable you with a redstone signal using a level emitter. Okay. And cable. This might be... That's not going to be good. What I could do is this. Cool. And then you'll just be, when Fluxite, which I should have some of, less than 128. How's that sound? Greater than 128. Or equal to. Right? So that'll be, once we hit 128 of those, we'll be good. Is that cool? I think that works. Why not? I like that little animation-y thing it does. So now both the laser and the growth accelerator are helping that thing grow. And that should be pretty cool. Alright, nice. So now we've got Fluxite covered. I was thinking about doing a fragment forge. We'll see if we need one. Atomic forge is definitely on the to-do list. But let's get the other two things we need. So now that I've got you covered, and now that I've got you covered, and now that I've got you covered, we're going to need a flux gate, which is going to be a crafty doohickey. And then we're going to need Duratanium, which is going to be alloying. Okay. So you're going to be flux gate, which we can make everything for. And then you're going to be this, which we're going to use platinum and netherite ingots, which both we know how to make. So that's cool. And you're going to be an assembler, and you're going to be... This is the alloying guy, right? No, the alloying guy is this dude? Foundry. Yes, that's him. Now, how are we for platinum? I just want to check. Like, where do I... I've got such an amount of platinum that I don't even know where it's coming from and don't care. So now I can say, Fluxgate, give me one of them. And... give me one of those. And now you should be cooking. Right? And then you should be cooking. And those will be some quests. Nice. Oh, I need 8 of those. So... how about 10? 10's a number. Good enough. Cool. Alright, so then that covers everything down here, with the exception of plutonium, which we'll deal with in a minute, when and if I need to. But the main thing I've been looking to make is the atomic forge. So the atomic forge... is going to be this dude. We have no wheat, ironically. There is a little bit of humor involved in the fact that we have, like, no wheat. Okay. I mean, that'll, like, pull us over for a bit. And then we'll see if we have a problem. So now for the atomic forge, I remember this one being moderately sized, but we'll see what it looks like. Yeah, he's pretty big. So we're going to stick him, like, here-ish. How's that sound? And then you need some core blocks. I guess I'll do the improved ones, because that's the stage that I'm at right now. There might be better core blocks, but we'll find out if we care about having them at this point. Oh, that's right, you can click the thing. It's so cool. Nice. Okay, atomic floors. Fill the slots from left to right, moves to the next slot when the first slot has been filled. Fills items evenly. New items are always put into the lowest matching slot. Sided. Oh, that's cool. And then default. Okay. Okay. That's nifty. Should we see what we can make with this guy? So an atomic forge can apparently engrave stuff. It can also make some other cool things. So I'm guessing a super AI chip is in our future, along with an advanced computing engine. What else do we care about getting here? I'm guessing silicon wafers are also in our future, and Heisenberg compensators. All the things. Promethium, I remember being a thing that we're going to have to deal with. Overcharged crystals as well. Oh, look, there's a Promethium bee spawn egg. Ah, that's cool. Strange matter beast. What's strange matter? That's also from Oritech. Interesting. Is that new? I don't remember strange matter. Am I crazy? Is that like, is that new? Can I sleep yet? Nope. So, let's check out the quest line. So I've got you. That gave me an Enderic laser for some reason. What we're ultimately working towards, as a reminder, for the Oblivion shard is going to be the Manhattan module. Okay. And we're going to want to see what it does, aside from just crafting it. So we're probably going to make one, and then play with it, and then either use it for the quest or make another one. But we'll get there when we get there. That's going to need plutonium pellets, though, which I assume needs plutonium dust. But again, we'll check it out in a minute. But let's work our way towards that with 8 silicon wafers. So this is going to be a pretty straightforward recipe, I hope. Silicon wafer is going to look like that. So let's get this thing automated properly. Is that just what the bottom of it looks like? I could believe that. Do you not need power or something? mean, he looks like he needs power, right? Am I crazy? But cables don't seem to connect to him. Well, we'll see what happens in a minute. I'm going to then... Is this a dense? He is a dense cable. And then we'll do a pattern provider here. And then we can do you, presumably, and you. Okay. Now if I said I want a silicon wafer, I need to actually put the pattern in there. And I assume that he is... Yes. But it did thing. That's right. Don't you have to charge it with the laser? I think you have to charge it with the laser. Now that I'm remembering why we got the atomic... Yeah, see, look. The atomic forces power reinforced deep slate, even duplicating ores. Energy pipes do not correct. Yeah, you have to charge it with a laser. So basically, we're going to want to have... Let's do 3 lasers. I got one as a quest reward, right? So give me a couple more of them. Nice. We'll start with 2, because that's how many I feel like making. And then if I decide that that's not fast enough, we'll deal with it. Hooray! Silicon crafting complete. Nice. Okay. So, you did thing. Craft complete. Nice. So I should be able to get 10 more of those. No problem. And what we're going to want to do is set this dude to do not push if it contains an ingredient. Well, that's... When did this happen? Oh, that's neat. Left click to multiply, right click to divide multipliers. That's cool. That's really cool. Because I feel like I could use that for some of my mechanism stuff that's always, like, too slow. Remember how I just have to go in there and be like, oh, let's make, like, 64 sand equal 64 glass type of stuff? I'm guessing that that's what that's for, and that's really kind of neat. That's new. Okay, so now you're done, and we've got wafers, right? So that's cool. And then from there, right, we're going to want to make... Just putting stuff away that I don't need in my inventory at the moment. So from there, we're going to make advanced computing engines, which you know how to make everything for. And from there, we can make super AI chips, right? So that should have you two covered. And then on top of that, make a super AI chip for me, which should not be a problem. It's cooking. Cool. I need 2 super AI chips. I do like that it's, like, cool about the fact that, like, it might not be 1 and 1, it's there in the stack. Like, that's pretty good. Alright, so that's cool. And now you want the Heisenberg compensator dude, which is going to be you, which seems easy enough. And if I put you guys away, that should make it even easier to make. Where is he? He went in there, right? There he is. How many of those do I need? Just one. Super easy. Cool. And then I get... Neat. I don't even know what I want. 30 levels of experience just doesn't seem necessary. I don't care about any of that, to be honest with you. Now let's get plutonium dust. So remember, plutonium dust, and we're going to need 2 plutonium pellets, which can be assembled with plutonium dust. This recipe being probably the best one. So let's program this in so that we're ready, right? So we're going to want Oritech plutonium pellets, which is going to be this one because we already know how to make that stuffs. And then how we're going to get that, this is the assembler, right? Yes, the assembler. What we're going to need to do to make plutonium dust, what are these things by? Small plutonium pellets used as reactor fuel. Ah, okay. Makes sense. I like that little, and like that little, like that's a cool looking texture, right? The plutonium dust can come from, plutonium makes it. We haven't made any of those yet. Crushers. So it's really the uraninite crystals, the quote unquote correct way. Now, alternatively, we could use uranium dust and fluxite in a particle collider, dude, and then we could also energize with power a uraninite crystal, but we haven't gotten into power yet. We do have uraninite, so should be cool. Let's do this. I'm going to try to figure out how this is going to work, but we're going to want another Oritech laser. Okay. Which shouldn't be too hard to make. Sweet. Okay. And then we're going to target it at this block, I assume? Is that how I want to do that? All right, stop. Stop doing whatever you're doing. Nobody meant for you to keep doing that. Like, that was actually pure comedy right there. Okay. That is actually very funny that I did that. But anyway, what were we doing? I don't even know. How do I make you not do that? Right, so you're gonna always shoot in a very straightish manner, right? So what if instead... There's a couple ways we could handle this. Like, I really want you to... I could move you here. So you're smart about that. And not... But I don't want you to do that. So let's put a lever here for the time being. And that'll be your on-off toggle. And there's a way I could automate this. See, look, you already broke... That's really funny, actually. What I think I'm going to do is have you shoot here. So that way, if you do break something, it's not the end of the world. Okay, that'll be cool, I think. Now, realistically, I don't want this lever here because that's going to stop you. So I want you there. Okay, perfect. Now let's go to this guy and figure out how much plutonium we're going to want. So that's going to come from a uraninite crystal, which is going to be uraninite geor shards and uranium geor shards and a sand block. So we have some uranium, but do we have uraninite? Yes. And then we're going to want sand 1x. And that should be cool. Now, I don't know how much of this we need. If we need to automate it, we will. You know Dyer. He decides when he needs to automate something and then does it. Now, can I just place you and turn you off? In theory, yes. Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll do like a placer. And I'll do that. Is that cool? Seems cool. And then what I should be able to do is that. Hooray! Cool. So now I should be able to get plutonium times 5-ish, about 2. Missing 2 plutonium dust. Isn't that what I just made? What plutonium dust was that you mistakenly put in there? There's 2 different plutonium dusts? Kind of. And we're cool. Sweet. Okay. And that got me plutonium dust. All right. So now we have what we need to make the Manhattan module. However, I'm going to call this wrapping up point, and we'll come back next episode to make it. Because we have to figure out, like, what it does. So for now, don't want to sign off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time and make the Manhattan module, which will allow us to make the Oblivion Shard, and then also see if it does something. For now, take it easy.